Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Heartland Mamas. I'm Marie Briel.
And I'm Heidi Henry, coming to you from two socially distant studios at the edge of the Great Red Divide. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock, we bring you a live stream version of progressivism, democracy, and messages from the Democratic Party, bringing it right to you so that you can learn it firsthand from us. You can find all of our previous works at Heartland Mamas, MAMAS.com, on all podcast platforms, YouTube, and proudly part of the Demcast USA network. And Marie, today I'm fucking outraged. And we are unfiltered, ladies and gentlemen, so just buckle up. Okay, Marie, take it away.
Yeah, we normally, believe it or not, Heidi and I do a lot of show planning. We research topics, we discuss the tracks we want to take. And today we both were just so absolutely, I don't know. I
Fucking
know you said,
outraged.
well, yeah, and I know you say outraged, Heidi, but I am gobsmacked in a way that, yeah, I'm furious, but I think I'm going through all the stages of mourning. Not denial, because we knew this was happening. And every time a Republican opens their mouth, I just want to slap, Trump's dick out of it. And, anyone who's conservative, I can't.
No, I,
I
I can't. I can't. I was so angry. And you've known me for quite a while. I'm not an angry person by nature. I'm also not. I like to choose my words carefully to make sure I describe what I'm really trying to say, convey. And I was up until 2:30. I finally went to bed at 2:30. Got up at 6:30 to take care of my farm, and turned on the daily to start my day. And I had never heard Trump's speech to his people before this melee started. Because Wednesday's like a really busy day for me on the farm. I teach writing lessons all frickin' day, and I'm out of touch with social media, with the television. I don't hear or see any of that. So I had not seen all of that, and I planned on like wrapping my day about 5 o'clock and coming in and seeing where everything was at and catching up on social media. And all of a sudden, my phone started blowing up. And it was all my indivisible and Democratic friends, and they're just blowing my phone up. And I'm like, do you see what's going on? I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I said, my daughter and I were in the middle of doing a pony lesson for these two cute little 5-year-olds. And I said, Rebecca, can you watch these two? I'm going to run in just for a minute. And I went in, I was like, oh my God. I looked at my husband, I go, I don't have time for this right now. But I'm really pissed. And
you
see,
know, you
you're in
talk
grief.
about
I'm just so mad.
you talk about words, Heidi. You mentioned words, and I will tell you, we have talked about this on our show for a
Yeah.
long time. The significance of words and how words are chosen, how we
Yeah.
use words, and how things can be interpreted. And it has never, ever, ever been more glaring than the last 4 years
Yeah.
of the obfuscation that can occur with words. Yesterday,
Yeah.
he tweeted as they had already breached the Capitol. He had tweeted, be respectful of law enforcement. They are on our side. And we know for a fact that there have been countless reports of officers, administrators within the police departments at all levels that
Yeah.
are members of QAnon and that harbor this militia bully attitude. And
Yeah.
to see him signal that, his
Right.
signals are so very in your face as it is. I know that they've banned him from Facebook for 2 weeks and they have done Twitter for 12 hours after he deleted those tweets. But I gotta tell you, I feel I know what's going to happen by him tweeting. Like it's almost like a public service at this point. Is that better than letting all of his followers have more wind and get more riled up? No, but for my sanity, I prefer to know because we know what's going to happen. He's telegraphed this. He telegraphs all of it. We saw the Capitol Police, and yes, there are a lot of reasons not being trained, not used to resist. Right. I'm not saying excuses
Marie.
I give them. We all know it's because they were white. They were
Yep.
white. If they had
Yep.
been black, they
Yep.
wouldn't have even gotten to the
Yep.
Capitol steps.
Nope. They would have shot him dead.
Joe said that today. Joe Biden
Bang,
said
bang.
that today in
Yep.
his press conference. He said, and for anyone out there who does not think that had that been a group of Black Lives Matter protesters, the situation would have been very different. You're fooling yourself.
Amen.
Called it out.
Sister.
Oh, and it's infuriating. And then you have these legislatures, these representatives who, after the batshit banana pants day, come back and still feed the fantasy, still
Right.
feed that.
Right.
And then they have
Yep.
the nerve to be,
Yeah.
I did not know. I would have never thought they would have
Who would have
gone this
known?
far. Who knew? If they knew. They chose
What did they-
to ignore. They all knew. And
Knew.
every single Republican right now that has endorsed and supported and pushed those conspiracies are
Yep.
all an enemy of the state.
Yep.
Straight up.
100%, Murray. 100%. You know, watching the video yesterday, first off, going back to what he said and how he directed them. And he told them he was going to lead the way to the Capitol building, which he did not. And I think Stephen Colbert did the best synopsis of that, which I watched just a little bit ago. When he did like the play-by-play, saying he said he was going with you. He wasn't. You are just entertainment for him. And that's all these people are, is his little toy soldiers. He was Captain Bonespurs, remember? He's not going to walk down there. Something could happen. One, he'd have to walk, and as fat as he is, he'd probably collapse. But, you know, going all the way down there and him telling him exactly what we're going to do. We're going to march down Pennsylvania Avenue. We're going to march right down there. And I thought, God damn you, you son of a bitch. You know,
So,
I mean,
have
I don't
you-
use blasphemy ever.
You know, I look always for, or I don't know, maybe I look for it because that's how I've trained myself. Maybe it's just a second nature that I look for the unseen. That's why we make a great team, right? I see things that might not seem to be like whatever. I saw today the video of Trump and Kimberly Guilfoyle and Junior and the whole
Saw that
crew
too.
right before they went to on stage, before the rally where they shipped them off, and it was it's the subtle, it's what you're seeing when you see that, and then you know what happened. There is absolutely no way that it was not incited and driven. And
to listen to her speech before this all started. It was incited. And the fact that the Capitol Police and the National Guard and the DC Police were unprepared, completely, 100% unprepared to deal with this onslaught for months that this day was coming. And they just folded like chairs.
Well,
they invited them in.
They had like how many arrests when they came to DC a couple of weeks ago. They know the problems that exist. This is a city that is used to the most protests probably per day of the week of any city in the world. They know how to handle it. They know how to have crowd control. They didn't even have the bare minimum of a police presence for any sort of a rally. And that leads us to know that there are so many sympathizers, and I'm going to call it out now. I'm going to call them sympathizers with Trump and sycophants. And we don't only have them, we also have these other folks who are in these positions with their own agenda to utilize the crazy train and the crazy pants that's going on right now and push their agendas.
That's Josh Hawley. It's Josh Hawley. He wants to inherit MAGA. He wants to be the next MAGA man. And he wants to take the Trump train and drive it into the White House in 2024. Oh, I'm telling you, we're derailing that sucker. He's not going anywhere. He's a horrible, worthless waste of skin and oxygen, just like Ted Cruz. I am done with those guys. Even when Jim Jordan starts making sense and Adam Kinzinger start making sense, you know the world has gone mad.
No. Don't even give either one of them an ounce of credit. And I'm sorry, anyone out there who's like, even Democrats, long term. So part of our problem, like we've talked about 100 times, Heidi, is our history, right? We have whitewashed our history.
Yep,
We have
we've talked
heroized
about that.
our politicians, our
Yep.
leaders. We've placed them just below comic book heroes, right? They save us because of the
Some.
romanticized notion of what it is.
Well,
And,
that they are there for our best interests. And we know that's not true. Not all of them, but some of them. And the ones that have been there the longest, Mitch McConnell, don't really care about you and me or anybody else but himself and his own pocketbook, right? He's going to ram stuff through judges and judges and judges. He was laying the groundwork. Mitch McConnell was laying the groundwork for this through the judicial system by putting through all of these nominations, trying to make it work for Trump. And then when that didn't work, and those guys found their spine, those women found their spine, Mitch McConnell's like, ooh, this might not go well for me.
yeah, okay,
Now
so
we're stuck with the horrible judiciary.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even that's a whole you're right, Heidi. And I'm not downplaying at all the importance of what you're saying.
Yeah.
But for me right now, it is more of a we idolize these people and we assume, like you said, we assume that they are not doing that they're there for the right reasons, right? Because we've been told that they're there for the right reasons.
No, I
Our
know.
history, our what we're fed, our spoon-fed history has created this in our minds that only honorable and true people would go into this profession. Hell, politicians still believe that hype. That's why they're all shocked and abhorred and amazed and mortified that this kind of thing could happen because they believe their own hype. They believe that they are in this position of, reverence, and that's part of the horror of everyone having these people on our capital in our houses. And okay, so what? I mean, honestly, they were in there in the Capitol, unbridled, unfettered access for 3 hours.
Yep.
They were in Nancy Pelosi's office. They wrote a
Yep.
letter. They were in. Okay, so if they're in interpersonal offices, what did they? What did they take? What did they
Yep.
download? And it
Yep.
wasn't those in the pictures. Who else was there with their own agenda? We are the
That guy
security
you met in
breaches
Chicago.
alone. The security breaches. If I'm Iran, besides for swearing out a warrant internationally with Interpol for Donald John Trump for war crimes, which I love.
I say we give him to Iran.
I love no. Oh yeah, they swore out a warrant for him. I'm like, God.
I say send him over.
I'm sorry. I got all twitty and foo, and I lost my place. So yeah.
Murray, I have to say though, listening to Nancy Pelosi today, I have okay. So there's a few things that really stuck out for me. Not the losers that were backing him, but Tammy Duckworth, our state senator, one of our two state senators, gave such a glorious speech today. And if our audience gets a chance, be sure and look that up because it almost had me in tears. And the other person who stepped up to this moment bigger than ever was Joe Biden. Blew me away with
Joe
yesterday
Biden.
and
Okay.
today.
Any reservations that I had about Joe went away when he won the primary. I trust those that
Yep.
picked Joe. I'm behind him.
Yep.
Any reservations as we've entered this stage of our democracy? He's the perfect man. The universe aligned itself correctly because it's exactly what it should be. And I can't help it. It is meant
He's
to
the man
be
for
that
this
he
moment.
is. He is the man for this moment, and we have to. I am hoping that we do not focus strictly on. I mean, there are so many glaring holes in security and democracy, but then so many levels. When you listen to Trump's phone call right over the weekend, and how he was shaking down the Secretary of State in Georgia.
Gratification.
You
Yeah.
know, he had taken the House and the leaders of the Pennsylvania or Michigan House and
Right.
treated them wildly. He's talking to Pennsylvania. You hear in that tape that Rudy sent, or
Yep.
the message he left for Tuberville, how he says, we just need a little more time to get the state legislatures to send in their objections. This is so we know that we have local sheriffs who won't enforce mask mandates or health orders or
Yes.
anything related to people.
Yep.
We know
You
we
and
have
I both live in counties with
prosecutors,
that.
judges in positions. We know we have state legislatures. My county board member was at that rally in D.C. yesterday. Yeah,
Oh my God,
surprise.
Molly.
Yeah. Very not so good. But what I'm saying
Not
though is at
mine.
every level we have these sycophants, crazies, opportunists, or jackasses, and it is going to be crucial as we move forward to put that in a priority position. Finding a way to get rid of that, along with the fairness doctrine, along with education. I mean,
I look at the cabinet that Biden has put forward, and today watching Merrick Garland be nominated. I watched that ceremony on TV, and Merrick Garland is also the right man for this moment. He is the right man for this moment, and a fearless warrior for democracy. He's neither left nor right. He serves the people without consideration of party.
Joe
And
Biden
I
just rocked it today when
Yeah,
he said,
and Mom,
"You do not serve me. You serve
That's
the
right.
Constitution." And he nailed that
Right.
home. And then, oh my God, when he called out the response to the protesters for what it was, racism,
perfect.
And I'm terrified for his safety now. I am terrified. Ever since these stories came out about having to recall Secret Service from the Obama administration to protect Joe Biden, because there are sympathizers in our Secret Service at every level. We have to. I don't even know what the hell we're gonna do.
Murray, I think that's where Pelosi comes in today, because I listened to her speech too, which they were on at the same time, so I was, going back and forth. But her calling on Pence and the cabinet, and with collective voices, even my reprehensible Representative Kinzinger has called for the 25th Amendment.
But we know the only reason that he did that is because he's hoping to emerge when the dust settles as the face of the
we're going to do a whole
Republican Party.
show on him.
Yeah, we all know that that's
Let's
at least he
get to
came
this.
out, but it's a big scam. Don't buy it.
Did he come out? Anyway, so
And he got married
stop.
to a lady.
Anyway, so but with her saying that if we don't take immediate action on the 25th, we are prepared to impeach. And I know the articles of impeachment were written last night, and they are ready to go to the House floor. And Nancy is ready to start it tonight. She's
that's,
ready.
That's phenomenal. I just don't see how they can get it done in the time before the transition. It seems as if even expediting it in every way possible, right? The rules and procedures are so that it's going to take more than 2 weeks.
I don't think on this. I think it's going to be a simple sedition, up or down.
Ooh,
and
I didn't know we could do that. I like that.
Yeah, and I think that that's exactly how it was written. So it was a sedition, up or down, and people have to vote on it. So but I think, and Dan Rather, who I follow on Twitter, brought up some really interesting points about what are they waiting for? Because you and I have both heard, and a lot of the people listening right now have heard that Pence is now running the country, and was as of like midday yesterday. And when all of this was going down, because we have John Jr. sent out video of Trump cheering as they were, knocking through the windows into the Capitol building. So we have that. We have video evidence, because Don Jr.'s a fucking moron with Mark Meadows, and they release videos like that because they're idiots For some reason, they thought
okay,
this.
I'm sorry. I want you to keep rolling because you are on fire, but please, I want all of our listeners to just stop for one moment and think about this. If Donald Trump had had an eighth less narcissism and a quarter more brains, all of this would have happened and we would not be aware. So thank God he and everyone around him is as stupid as children. They are. As stupid and as greedy and as despicable as they are. Because of that, we are in a lot better spot than we could be if he'd have had a brain.
They have to boast and brag about everything. They have to boast and brag about everything. Instant gratification from Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Instant gratification is all what the Trumps believe in because they are reality show people. Kimberly Guilfoyle. Anyway, so...
Well, that's why they deny the results of the election. That is the basis. When he made the Georgia call, that is the basis for one of his objections, were the number of people at his rallies. You are so right. They are a reality TV populist.
You and I know it's the
administration.
Same people. They like caravan to go. They caravan across. They follow him like they follow the Grateful Dead. I mean, seriously. It's the same damn people because some of them live near me and I see their little Trump wagons that they take. Oh, we're heading out. And I see their posts on social media. We're heading out to Tulsa or wherever the hell they're going. And it's like, you know, just, don't you have jobs? No. So, but anyway, listening to Dan Rather and Henry Other is under the opinion that Trump is begging for pardons for himself and his family for everything, including what happened yesterday. He wants to be pardoned, and then he'll give it to Pence for the next 13, 14 days. I don't want him to be pardoned for anything. I want him to have no social media contact for 3 years. I don't want to hear if he takes a breath. I don't care. I want him to shut up. I want his family to shut up. Maybe they can move away. Maybe they can... Scotland won't let him in, but I'll bet Russia will. I'll bet Russia will.
I don't know. Iran's got a warrant out for his arrest, so hey, we could get lucky if they try to leave the country. We could get lucky and they could snatch him. That would be awesome. Fingers crossed.
The whole family. But, but I'm listening to reading Dan Rather's tweets, and I'm thinking to myself, this SOB is going to get away with this. He's going to get away with it.
And that's a big concern. But we can't. I know we want to bring the country together, and I know that will be a pressure that will be out there. But every freaking time the behavior gets worse, and in 20 years we are back to a giant shit show every single time. We cannot allow this to happen. If we have to put up with him, why can't we just neuter him? Why can't we get it out that he really can say whatever he wants, but he has no authority? Let him ride the fuck out the next 2 weeks and then go after him. Without his weapons of social media?
I'm sorry, they took away he still has access to the nuclear codes. He can still declare war with Iran.
Honey, he already sold the nuclear codes to Russia a long time ago.
I'm sure they've been changed. I'll bet you they're being changed right now.
So I'm thinking that really we don't have a lot to lose. Just let's humor him because not humor him. No. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying don't give in to the pleas. You're right. I'm not saying don't give in to the pleas for a pardon or the negotiations or anything. You can't because that just continues the hell that we are going through. You know, when Johnson pardoned all of those seditious Civil War generals, that we should have never started there. We should have not. We should not start now.
And didn't that come up over and over and over again about the end of Reconstruction, about Johnson? Didn't that come up on the House floor and on the Senate floor over and over and over again? Here we are again. Here we are again in the same place because we don't learn our frickin' history. And we have to understand those damn dinosaurs that stormed the Capitol yesterday have to understand by 2040, Heidi, white people will be the minority.
History. We don't learn real history. You're right. We don't know history. We are not, which is why we nail this into our heads. It is reforming education. teaching real history, bringing
Civics.
back the fairness doctrine, okay, and civics falls in line with that, bringing back the fairness doctrine, and that is the only way to begin to move forward. And punishing, we love punishment. The United States loves punishment. It's time to dole some out, and if we don't, there's no going back ever. So that's what I mean. Let him pretend he's still president. Change all the locks and anything important. Keep him muted in every other way. In 2 weeks, bounce his ass out the door, and then go after him with everything you've got.
See, and I want 25th today. I want it before.
Well, the 25th we know will never ever happen, because it would require his secretaries to turn on him, and they won't. Elaine Chou, she quit. She could have been one of those. Votes.
Yesterday was just too much. Are you freaking kidding me?
Elaine Chou, what? That was the bridge too fucking far. Seeing Steve Scalise get shot at the baseball practice game, that wasn't too far, but this was. Piss off. No. She doesn't get out of it. She could have said, I am calling on all of my fellow cabinet members to invoke the 25th. You're going, no, she doesn't get a pass. None of them.
I'm looking at who's left in the cabinet. You have crazy ass Ben Carson. You have crazy ass Betsy DeVos. And then you have a whole lot of acting this and acting that. Do they get a vote?
Put there by him. Yeah.
Yes. So are they going to do anything? Well, in Mealy Mouse Pence, can he whip these guys into shape and get the vote out of them?
No, and
but then again, like I said, everybody
would be happy to step into that role, but he would fucking pardon Trump in a heartbeat. It'd be like, okay, honey, don't be mad at me. You know he would. Yeah. And the fly would hold the pen.
Probably push the pen. But I look at Mike Pence, who is a spineless, worthless human being, and who has sat there silent through all of this, through all of it. He was a terrible governor for the state of Indiana. Terrible. And because he was terrible, and because he hated gay people, and because he's anti-abortion, he was the perfect vice president, Mealy Mouth Pence, for Trump. Because they knew he'd say nothing, do nothing. And so to find... I don't even know that there's an opening to insert a spine again for Mike Pence. I mean, he forfeited that to Mother, I think, before they were married. I just don't see him being able to get the secretaries, the cabinet together on this. But I do see Pelosi. I do see Pelosi delivering an up or down impeachment, and I see her working on it tonight. She's had it. All of those people in their little plastic bag gas masks waiting for the other shoe to drop because they didn't know what the fuck was happening, but they did know the guard was not coming. And then Pence has to step in about 5 o'clock last night, our time, to send the National Guard in.
The whole tree. I mean, honestly, the whole tree needs to get neutered.
Oh, God. None of them should be allowed to reproduce. They better get Barron in now.
Well, I'm talking like, yeah. I just, it is just so frustrating. And, so Heidi, a little bit ago when I lost my train of thought, which I apologize, I want to bring us back to this for a sec. We talked about how the halls of Congress are so hallowed and so revered, and how everyone is so shocked, and it's because they didn't want to see what the rest of the world saw. They chose to ignore.
Oh God, the rest of the world is just,
and it brings home to them, I believe. Maybe perhaps this will be the start of dinging back American exceptionalism. Like, maybe it'll be the start of maybe we need to stop being so arrogant about everything, because what's happening here doesn't happen at other places.
We've talked about this before. The only people that feel Americans are exceptional are Americans.
Yeah, for sure. I know.
And we've traveled to other countries. We know how they feel.
Much. That's what drove us into world engagements, and I'm not talking like the wars that were justified. That's what drives trade. You're absolutely right. That is a huge factor in everything. Is
Yeah.
American exceptionalism.
Yeah.
It's why mercenary capitalism is the foundation of our society. It's why we don't have an
Right.
education system that fosters critical thinking, but in fact have an
Nope.
education system that creates drones to consume what they produce.
Or beats.
The
Right.
entire thing falls to this, and it is time we stop it. And I believe Joe has the will, and I know we can keep fighting, but I don't believe that this is gonna die even shortly after he goes away. I
Marie,
don't foresee.
the Capitol Police ushering, even I saw one of them like gently take the back of somebody and usher them out the door yesterday. Seeing them take selfies, and one of our mutual friends said, well, they're just doing that so they have facial recognition. And watching people out these people over and over again on Twitter today has been a great entertainment for me.
Don't even.
But
And
I
that's
don't
just
blame
it.
either.
Listen, think about that, Heidi. We know these are groups that are militant groups, militia groups from all over. We know some of them are QAnon crazy groups. We know some of them
Yeah.
are NRAers or right wingers or all these different factions.
Yeah.
We know they talk to each other and they connect, but they've studied the Revolutionary War because they're kind of obsessed with it. They've studied.
Right.
And their motive would be to create attacks everywhere, to create terror, because they know they can't but they need to interrupt. That was what the bomb down in Atlanta was designed to do. That is what the overthrow attempt in Michigan was attempting to do. Not just to accomplish a task, but to incite terror and uncertainty. And we have to expect, we have to understand that is going to happen consistently in small ways, because you have all these different crazy factions here and there, but it's going to start happening all across the country.
See, and I think, I would hope that the FBI starts rounding up all these people, because they have some of them, and they're going to flip because they don't want to stay there. And I hope that they bring them to trial swiftly, and they get them.
The way Amon Bundy got brought to trial swiftly and justly accused and prosecuted. Yeah, these guys they're not declared as terrorist organizations. Trump literally took them off of the terror watch list and delisted white supremacy as a form of a terror group.
That's why he's got to step down today.
So screwed. And then think about that. We know they've infiltrated leadership positions. We know they're in police departments. We know they're in county offices. And think about that. They're the ones I was saying to my son, I said, when the Black Lives Matter protests happened and there were a few looting situations that occurred in the area, our whole town shut down, the whole county. It was this big fear, right? Enraged by black people coming, right? That was all what the
Grundy County was
we
paralyzed.
shut down. Yeah, because of this
BS
crap.
Come on down.
So let me ask you a question. Are they going to shut everything down when the Proud Boys come walking down the street with their torches and their flags?
They didn't.
Will they?
They did.
When the local 7-Eleven gets bombed, they're not going to try as hard. It's a cycle that is terrifying, and we need to address it right away.
It is. We're going to have to, I read something about how at the end of World War II, the Nazis just fled into the woods, intending to regroup and come back and retake their country, right? But what we did when we rebuilt Germany and Japan is we made them strong financially. We helped them repair. We helped them create really well-paying jobs. And maybe to the detriment of the people who lived in the United States, and we have to be careful about that, because I think that's part of the problem we have now. But we did all of that infrastructure, all of that building, and they didn't come back because they had something to do. They had jobs and education and, and a purpose in life beyond watching Fox News and Breitbart, reading Breitbart and being on Parler all day. And I think if we can get the economy going past the servitude economy that we have, where people are supposed to just wait tables and ring you up at Walmart. And of course, Walmart is doing away with all of their cashiers now. Yeah. So, but if we can do away with those menial labor jobs, or at least have them pay a decent wage, if we can help build back better education, infrastructure, good God, these people had real jobs, maybe they wouldn't have time to be like this, right? Also, I kept thinking with the guy with the fur outfit and the horns, he spent a lot of time thinking about what he was going to wear that day. I wonder if he's got a job too, because the woman that was shot and killed has a pool cleaning business, but she was radicalized. I mean, when we talk about radicalized, seeing some of her videos prior to her march to Washington, she was batshit crazy. I don't care that she was a 14-year veteran of the armed services. That doesn't negate what she did and what she was doing leading up to when she was killed yesterday.
And most countries addressing things. You're right, Heidi, from an objective reality. Whether that reality is constructed by us 100 years ago and we're now watching it come home to roost. We are watching the division, the lack of education, the hatred come to roost. And we created that. Not you or I, not maybe Andrew who is listening, but we created that through the capitalism, through our consumerism, through the upper class. We created it, and we have to own it. And it's going to be ugly. And if we don't have people in place who are willing to own it, we'll never be able to move forward.
We have to do something. This is intolerable. And it starts with reinstating the fairness doctrine. It starts with prosecuting the people. Our capital had not been invaded since shortly after we became a nation. And I look at that and I think, how did we let this happen? How could we be so ill?
Because there's someone who is letting that happen in positions of power, and it's not just Trump, it's his enablers. It's those he put in place. We know what his tweet said yesterday. The police are on our side. They are on our side. We know he's revered by the sheriffs and the chiefs of police across the nation. Yeah. He has them in his pocket. He doesn't need the military. He doesn't need a coup. He doesn't need to get the Joint Chiefs of Staff to send the troops into the field. He has the police. He has the justice system. And that is terrifying.
I wonder if the police chiefs and sheriffs around the nation look at the lack of law and order yesterday and the attack on the Citadel of the United States of America, the attack on the Constitution, and realize that this is not law and order. This is chaos.
No, and I'll tell you why, because they went into law and order for the wrong reasons. They went into law and order to get exhibit power, to be the bully they were on the schoolyard, to not all of them, but a portion of them, and those that we're talking about, those police union heads who are MAGA worshipers. In all of those places, he has found this group of people to do his bidding. So when they see that at the Capitol, they're not seeing lack of law and order. They're seeing their time to rise. That's exactly what it is.
You're saying they're justifying it. They find justification.
Their time to rise. Mm-hmm. They don't see it. Well, I know we have gone way over, but guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We had a ton of listeners today. Please like, subscribe, share. Tell people about the Heartland Mamas. We will always give it to you straight and unfiltered.
Today, very unfiltered.
and we're going to be okay, guys. It's just going to get real frickin' bumpy for the next couple of months and years to come. Forever. Yeah. So chapter 2 of the dystopian novel that we now live in is officially begun. That's the Insurrection chapter. We're still in the exposition phase. So tune in next Tuesday and see if you get more of chapter. See what chapter the United States is on in the dystopian hell journey that we're on.
Can I edit it first?
Yes.
Before it's released?
So thanks for tuning in, Heartland Mamas.
MAMAS.com. Find all of our previous episodes on YouTube, on all podcast platforms and proudly part of the Demcast USA network. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks for
Bye.
letting me get it off my chest. I've been really pissy today.
Me too. Bye bye.
Bye.